In this video, we are going to begin looking into a mech which is renowned for how frustrating it can be to catch and corner. Built by a firm which was renowned more for aerospace fighters than for tanks or mechs, we will be uncovering the mysteries around Nuart Interstellar's Spider. A light mech weighing in at 30 tons, the Spider was built for the Star League when they made a request for a dedicated elite commando mech for their infiltration forces. Nuart won this contract almost immediately due to submitting the design for this mech before others had managed to get anything even conceptually finished, and this was largely due to them already having a project waiting in the wings for a recon/attack role mech. Being this far along in the project, the SLDF signed the contract to begin production on the unit to meet their current orders, and models rolled off the assembly line by the end of 2650. The Amaris Civil War would see the destruction of Nuart's facilities, essentially making the Spider a mech with no spare parts and no new units coming online. The Free Worlds League, however, would secure their design schematics from the ruins of the Terran hegemony in the conflicts that followed, and would have Nimakachi Fusion Products begin building new spiders in their territory. Eventually, Nimakachi would expand a plant into the Draconis Combine as well. This would lead to the Spider seeing a resurgence in the latter succession wars, and it would see action extensively in every conflict due to its simple nature and purpose-driven design. Comically, though, it is noteworthy that the Spider does not have a pilot ejection system, meaning that when this machine is in trouble, it is very often exceptionally lethal for its pilot. The most common Spider built during the Star League until extensive refits in the later era, as well as by the successor states, is the SDR-5V. A recon mech by its nature and a true light skirmisher, its design would be unique at the time of its introduction. The SDR-5E would be powered by a Pitman 240 engine, coming in at a massive 11.5 tons compared to the mech's overall weight, and providing the SDR with a maximum speed of 129 kilometers per hour, or 12 movement points in the tabletop game. This unit also comes with a staggering 8 jump jets, yielding a leaping ability of 240 meters, or 8 movement points in the tabletop game. In a game where speed and positioning can have dramatic impact on survivability and attacking power, the SDR-5E's greatest strength, perhaps greater than almost any other mech of its era, is its speed and maneuverability. It would come as well with 10 standard heatsinks built into the engine, but nothing more. This can mean issues if it uses all 8 of its jump jets and fires its weapons array. For that weapon array, the Spider was meant to be exceptionally capable in this regard, and has 2 high-quality Aberdovi Mark III medium lasers. This amount of weaponry, though able to harm other mechs, appears to be far from capable when put next to its counterparts like the Javelin, Firestarter, or especially the Jenner. While this mech does have its merits in some ways for its offensive capabilities, it is not well armed in comparison to the majority of its peers, even in its own weight class. Finally, for the non-movement based defense of the Spider, it is, in a word, dreadful, coming in at only 3.5 tons of armor. This, however, is mitigated by the fact that it has one of the best kinds of armor of all, that being that it is one of the fastest mechs of its time and has an immense jump capability. If the SDR should, for whatever reason, be trapped or can't move, its time on the battlefield is limited to whatever its opponent's decisions are in their turn. Originally envisioned as a commando and put into a more serious role as a maneuverable recon asset, particularly in either built-up areas or rough terrain, the Spider has in many respects thrived throughout the extended run of 500 years in the Inner Sphere. When engaging as a light hunter and counter recon, the SDR-5E would also see some success, though this is a much riskier action for this unit to take, especially in more open terrain. In the hands of a skilled pilot, this design can perform acts which could baffle the mind of any Mechwarrior with its ability to change position to get the drop on its opponents. Unfortunately, though, one mistake will often be its last. The Spider is a design that would see multiple alterations throughout the production runs in the Inner Sphere, either trying to modify its role or how it does it, or by introducing new technologies to make the unit more effective and apply better to the changing face of warfare in the Inner Sphere. The SDR-5K would be one of the alternative designs created by Nuart Interstellar, and is an anti-infantry version of the Mech. It would remove one medium laser and replace it with 2 anti-infantry machine guns, along with 1 ton of ammunition, though it would remove 1 ton of jump jets to make this possible. Commonly used as a militia mech rather than a frontline one, this mech is not as well formed as the SDR-5E, at least in my opinion. Though it can be a terror for infantry, it may actually lack the armor to properly confront them, or vehicles, and its lower jump rate reduces the amount of protection generated by its leaps. A later design released during 3051, which utilizes Starleague technology, is the SDR-7M. This design would add endo steel to save weight and would reduce the armor to 3 tons, but change that armor to ferrofibrous. This would allow the Spider to replace its medium lasers with medium pulse lasers, increasing its accuracy and damage with ranged attacks. Beyond that, it did not resolve the issues with the pilot ejection system, keeping the pilot at extreme risk. This would not be an ideal design in many respects, as mechs had become more accurate and lethal in this era and beyond, which also, coupled with the ejection issues, could be a lethal cocktail for the pilot. Final variant we'll cover today is the SDR-9M, which is the final model so far in the chain of SDRs for House Marik, and this is the most recent of those designs. It comes with light ferrofibers, endosteel, and utilizes an XL engine to save weight on its massive engine expense, though, again, at the cost of the machine's overall durability. Its weapons package would be 2 medium variable speed pulse lasers, giving it a variable damage from the beams, but consistently more damage than standard medium pulse lasers. It does possess double heat sinks, but jumping and firing the lasers will overwhelm its sinking ability if it's pushed too hard, too often. This unit would suffer from a short effective range and a very limited amount of durability. The Spider's greatest strength has always been its speed, as well as its mobility. It can use its jump jets to traverse significant rough terrain, hide, and escape any situation. It also uses this as a weapon to position itself to better attack its foes, or, as mentioned, escape danger, or to be too hard to hit by weapons while it is executing its operations. The Spider's weaknesses, however, are significant. It's heavily undergunned for its weight, and its armor is disastrously low, with almost all other light mechs from its era carrying more protection and more firepower across the entire class. This makes its capability to impact the battlefield limited due to its low damage output, and makes its survivability questionable, especially with more advanced weapon systems in later eras, such as pulse weapons. This is also to say nothing of multiple Spiders having the rather difficult cockpit issues in regards to ejections. The Spider is a mech which can achieve the role of being a recon mech, an occasional light hunter or counter recon, though its abilities to skirmish will diminish with the march of time. Too fragile to really be useful at anything else, and perhaps too fragile even to do its intended role in some cases, the Spider is still a design that persists despite it all. And hey, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. With that, I will catch you all in the comment section below.